Hi, Peep. Where are you at in the healing process? Are you just wanting to start to heal? Are you in the process of healing? Or have you finished the 10-week Transform You program that we just finished last week? You got into peace and you are feeling peace in your life, but you want to make sure you stay there. Well, wherever you are at in the process, this is the place for you. What I like to call is my simple aftercare plan. And you could look at the simple plan as a place that keeps it simple. I was in a mental hospital in 2023 from having a major breakdown. It was called a psychosis. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to my website, jenniferrose.biz, and you'll hear all about my story throughout the website. But for today's purpose, I was in a mental hospital and it was so overwhelming. I just lost everything. I literally only had in my life left is one shirt, a skirt, and a pair of sandals. That's it. And I didn't even have my sanity. So I had nothing. And I was in the mental hospital and this nurse would keep coming and saying, so what are you going to do after? So what are you going to do after? I'm like, number one, I'm here, so I'm not doing a very good job of taking care of myself. Two, how is that relevant right now? And three, why are you asking me? Every time she would come around, I would cringe because it was like overwhelming a system that's already overwhelmed. And I sat there in the mental hospital and I said, why can't they just keep it simple? And that's where in the mental hospital, I came up with this aftercare plan. They throw a lot of acronyms at you, which is basically using the word so you can remember what to do. So I think that philosophy is great to use an acronym. The ones that they used, I don't even remember, truthfully. I think they were a little bit too complicated for me, especially at that time. So this simple aftercare plan that I'm giving you is something I used. I made in a mental hospital with a loss of reality. I used when I got out and I was during the healing process. And I use it today, a transformed woman, and making sure that I stay together. I'm going to give you a metaphor. So you have a puzzle, right? And we are all at different phases of this puzzle. Some of us haven't even opened the box to start healing. It's like Pandora's box. If I open this, I don't know what I'm going to find. And some of us have opened the box and now are starting to put our pieces together. And maybe some of us, like this little Winnie Pooh, finally put the pieces of our life together. And it was actually not of a bad picture. As you can see by Pooh getting helped out from everybody around him. The picture was a lot better once I put it together and you were in charge of putting your pieces in the puzzle. But if a piece fell off, you need to make sure that you can handle your situation. And that is where the simple aftercare plan is here. I want you to think of this fire hydrant. When you think of simple, right? Keep it simple, make it simple. But simple itself, this plan, I want you to think of a fire hydrant. I want you to have this visual. So think about when you're going, God, I have so many fires to put out. Think of this fire hydrant. What does it do? It sits on at the outside of your house. It's hardly even noticed, but it's there because if a fire is happening within your house, the firemen come or women come, hook up to the hose and then put your fire out. Except a fireman's not coming. You are coming and you are hooking in to this fire hydrant to put out the fires in your life. Or maybe in some sense to prevent fires from happening is the simple plan. So think about this when it comes to the simple plan. Now, what does the aftercare plan look like? Well, I want to give you another visual, a train. So when we are trying to fix our life, you could think about it, we're getting on a train. And what does a train do? It goes from point A to point B, right? We want to get on the train and we want to get to a certain place in our life. And that is what we're going to do this week. Every day, we're going to work on one part of the simple train. Now, today is S. And we're going to go S-I-M-P-L-E all week. But today is just S. So S has two parts. You have to start. So if you want to go anywhere on a train, you have to make the plans to say, okay, I'm going to literally go on it. So before you do anything, you have to be willing to start. You can't go anywhere if you don't start. So you're driving to the train station. You started. You are going to do this. Then you get on the platform. Now you're on the platform and the train is going to be coming up. Now on the platform, you have to make a statement. I want to do fill in the blanks. Now with our keep it simple, make it simple plan, people may be pulling on their platform and says, I want world peace. That is great. That is amazing. But that is this kind of puzzle that you're trying to bring to the platform. If you bring this kind of puzzle to the platform, you're probably not going to progress in a way that you want to. So let's say you modify it and says, I want to have peace within myself. Again, not a lot of pieces, but that's still a lot. You need to make it simple. Maybe it's, I want to complete the 10-week Transform You program. It's possible. You can take one day at a time and it's all for 10 weeks. You take one video and go through it. That is a statement you can make. But I want to go down even more basic. I want to say, I want to work on a routine. A routine that I do. Now, a part of that routine could be the 10-week Transform You program, but in all intents and purposes, I want to start a routine. That is the basic thing we are going to be working on because I, myself, want to work on that. I want to work on a routine. So we're going to start making the statement, I want to work on a routine. Now, if your piece is something different than mine, then this week, I want you to work on it all week. Every single day, by the time we get to Friday, you are going to have an actual plan for your aftercare for your one piece of the puzzle. So before we end today, because tomorrow is going to be all about the I, but before we forget to do this, I want to do the gratitude. When we're doing any kind of aftercare plan, we have to think of the things that are happening are going to be overwhelming at times. Excuses are going to be starting. You could look at the gratitude practice as like extra tracks to say, okay, this is bad, but this, and not positive thinking. This is positive feeling. You know what? I have legs to walk. I have arms. I mean, it comes down to some basic things that I want to set up a routine. So I have the ability to think at all about a routine. I'm grateful for be able to do that. A lot of people are overwhelmed, can't do that. Or basic saying, hey, I'm showing up for myself. I'm grateful for myself for doing this, for even listening. So let's get to our gratitude. If you watch the 10-week Transform You, this is my nemesis, and it's also magic. So today's card is 2 kinds of gratitude. The sudden kind we feel for what we take, and the larger kind we feel for what we give. Edwin Arlington Robinson. Now I'll let you take that one for the simple aftercare plan. 2 kinds of gratitude. The sudden kind we feel for what we take. The larger kind we feel for what we give. We've been taking so much time not doing what we need to do to take care of ourselves. But when we make a simple aftercare plan, it's the larger kind we feel, and we gain so much. And our trips that we're taking are a lot better. and they're in our everyday life. I hope this was helpful to you. See you tomorrow for I.